women are gold diggers, big time gold diggers, and men master manipulators. These things bring up the whole conversation of what do you bring to the table, and on the flip side, what table even is available for me to bring something to. You remember this guy? A couple of years ago, social media hailed him. Why? His wife took him to court seeking 50% of his assets, only to be told that his property had been put in his mother's name. When a relationship develops, when it becomes more serious, then we are talking marriage. And then before marriage, another big question. Would you sign a prenup? Would you sign a prenuptial agreement?
Depends. On what? If the lady has money already, as for that, I'll sign. I'm not sure.
Let's explore from the legal perspective what it means to have a prenup.
So a prenup is generally a legal contract between a man and a woman who are intending to get married.
Okay.
So they are saying that after we have gotten married, we acquire properties, or the properties we have acquired prior to getting married. This is how we want it to be handled. So, for instance, that property A would be my personal property.
Okay.
Property B would be your personal property. Property C would be our marital property.
Okay.
And in case of divorce, how all these properties that I have listed, how it should be distributed. Okay. Should it be, should your personal property go to you? Should my personal property come to me? Should marital property be shared 50-50? Should it be shared 40-60? Or how it should be shared? So generally, when we say prenuptial agreement or prenup as we have it, this is what it is about. Okay. All assets generally should go into a prenup. Okay. So when we talk of assets, we have the tangible assets like houses, those things that we see, and intangible assets. We have copyright, trademarks, goodwill, and all those things. All kind of assets, whether tangible or intangible, should be part of the prenup agreement. And mind you, it's not only assets that are captured in prenup. Okay, what else? We also have liabilities or debts. Okay. In case we incur a debt, how should it be handled? So if let's
you can put all that in a prenup, just in case your husband goes to pick a loan, or you go and pick a loan and you are owing.
Yes, if you go to contract a loan personally, we would say that a personal loan that is personal to the individual, we could say, for instance, that the individual should bear or should be the one to repay it. Okay. However, if we were to take a loan collectively to build a house, to acquire a car, then we could say that, oh, the husband should pay 30% and the woman will pay 70%, or we should split it 50-50. Okay. So these are, it's not only assets that are captured in prenups. I would recommend, advise my client to
have a prenup.
Yes, to have a prenup, especially if the client comes and I think that he's someone who has properties a lot. And I think he also, mind you, lawyers, when we are advising clients, we act in the best interest of your client. Okay. I'm not thinking of a future someone that I don't know. So if you sit before me asking for my opinion on whether you should sign a prenup, and I know you have properties now, you are going to have properties in the future, I would say, why not? Yes, speak to your partner. Let you have a prenup. And it is not, it shouldn't breed distrust.
It shouldn't breed distrust?
No.
Okay.
Yes, most people think that prenup should bring about distrust. It settles the matter for you. The court even advises us to do, so that it doesn't take long, like back and forth. You'll be fighting over who should take this property. So if there were a prenup in place, it makes things very easier. It makes life very easier. And most especially the fact that divorce rate is on the rise these days. A prenup is a bit alien to Ghanaian law. Yeah. Our laws have not provided for prenups. the Matrimonial Causes Act that was supposed to be for matrimonial matters did not capture it or envisage it.
So we don't have a
We don't
provision
have
in Ghana for
provision in
prenup.
Ghana. Yes, the constitution doesn't also provide anything for it. Apart from the fact that it must be valid. If everything is in place and you put it before a court, even though Ghana has not enacted laws to control prenups, the court is most likely to rely on the um, law governing contract
Okay.
to determine
Law governing contracts like what? So these will be like alternatives to a prenup.
Yes. Not, so a prenup is generally a contract. As I said, it's a
Yes.
contract. So they will use the same rules that applies to contract
Okay.
to decide
Okay.
whether, as I said, the parties entered it voluntarily, whether nobody was coerced, you didn't sign under duress, and all those things. Or you can even put validity of the prenup contract into question. In this day and age, people are able to use AI to generate a lot of things.
Yes.
They can even generate your signature. So no, this is not my signature. So you are questioning that prenup. So if it is put before a court and you go and question it, the court is most likely to nullify it if you are able to adduce cogent evidence to prove that that is not my signature and I did not consent to this particular prenup.
Very interesting and very meaningful, legally, of course. But is that the reality on the ground? Footballer Victor Boniface recently broke up with his girlfriend because she refused to sign a prenup. Is this topic enough basis for one party to walk away from the other? Does this breed distrust in relationships? How does it affect couples? Let's find out from a family counselor what the topic of prenuptial agreements can do to a relationship.
Is this something you'd recommend?
It depends. As a counselor, you don't get to have too much of an opinion when it comes to issues like this, depending on the people who come to you. So when you talk about recommendation, it depends on the individuals that you are counseling at a particular moment. So yes, for maybe certain people, you may recommend. Others to you may suggest that if they can rethink it. Yes, so it depends on the couple that comes to you. Life is not predictable.
Yeah, but someone will argue, me too, my contribution can't be quantified, but I contributed.
Of course, yes.
Yes. So
That I would agree. Because it's for both sides, not just for a woman or a man. Why am I saying that? Because, for example, let's say if at the time we were getting married, I had assets, or the man had assets, and then we decided to sign a prenup, etc. If during the marriage that asset diminishes and then the other party now has more, what happens? So you can't predict life. That is why, in as much as possible, you would want to say that, okay, there may be suggestions or things that may be itemized that can be quantified, maybe your emotions, things you have gone through, blah, blah, blah. But you can't predict it. That is the most important thing. Don't use the same lawyer. Use different lawyers.
Oh,
so that
okay.
there is nothing like a mistrust. Okay? Have your lawyer. Let the man to have his or his lawyer as well. So that at the end of the day, nobody will say that, and it is your lawyer who drafted the thing. And maybe I didn't understand this clause, or even if you are using one person, take the documents, go and ask on a second opinion, and find out if it satisfies what you want.
Young people, particularly Gen Zs, have been the biggest proponents of signing a prenuptial agreement. Why is this the case?
Yes, I will sign a prenup.
Why?
I will sign a prenup. Even if I own 5 pair of shirts in my name, I will sign a prenup because I have toiled, I have suffered, I have gone through heaven and hell to get what I own now. Now, me entering a marriage or me marrying, let's say Cecilia, doesn't give her 100% ownership of whatever it is that I have, or even 50 or even 10% of whatever it is that I own. If we begin our marriage life and then we start building things together, that it makes sense to me. To give you even 60% of it, it makes sense to me. But whatever it is that I own, no, I'm signing a prenup.
I would say no, I wouldn't sign a prenup. Why? Because men of these days, they focus more on themselves rather than the leaders. And they should bear in mind that we ladies also sacrifice a lot of things in marriage, okay? So if I sign a prenup, that means whatever that you owned belongs to you alone. Or let's say you just say that this goes to me, this goes to you. But if I don't sign it, when we divorce, the court is to decide who owns this and who owns that.
We say two shall become one. In the marriage, we are one. Listen, in a marriage, we are one and we are building things together. That is when, if you take me to court telling me that I can't take half of what we have built together, that is when there is an issue. But before the marriage, I was one. Whatever I went through to get whatever I own is me. I do not need anybody's hands in that. That is why that is aside. Shout out to Hakimi, you are a big role model though. And shout out to Donald Trump too. This is some of the reasons why he is instigating that thing in US, that divorcing your husband and taking half of his properties doesn't make sense. He is trying his best to stop that thing in USA, because a lot of women out there are using this as a business franchise. No, you didn't make me.
You came into the marriage with
No, you didn't make me.
She's linking you to people. She's getting you businesses. She's helping you run businesses. All of those things which you weren't able to do prior to the marriage. You still don't think it's fair?
That is the reason why we have a coach coaching 11 players on the field. The coach doesn't know how to play the football, but knows how the football works. Now, when we are married, I might know how to speak to people. I might know how to communicate better.
So you feel like
but you know how to get the contracts. It's a teamwork. It's a teamwork. That doesn't mean you have made, bringing me contracts and me executing it doesn't mean you have made me. No, we made each other.
In marriage, women sacrifice more than men. You get me? Yeah, so if you say, oh, I had this earlier, it belongs to me alone, but when we get it in the marriage, it belongs to both of us. It's not right. If you have it, it should be for us and our children. You get me? Yes, we sacrifice a lot. A lot that I'm talking about is we get pregnant, you stay home for 9 months, suffering, labor pain, and all that. And then the guy will say, oh,
because
I have it, so it belongs to me alone. Come on.
A lot has been said. With all that has been said, now let's bring it home. Would you sign a prenup? Would you sign a prenuptial agreement? Or you take notes from Hakimi and ensure that Mama is the real MVP?